Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for the invitation to speak with you this morning. And thank you all for being here. As a former teacher myself, I know how hard it is to carve out professional development time. And I'm grateful that you chose to spend your precious professional development time here, because getting Holocaust education right is more important now than ever. As many of you realize, the passing of the last survivors of the Holocaust means that critical perspective is in danger of being lost. And the rise of hate in our country, along with efforts to limit what is being taught in schools, it poses a real threat to individuals and to our democracy as a whole. And essentially, that was my reason for running at this time for Congress. Your work today is absolutely critical, right? It's important to foster positive student actions in schools and communities. We have to help students and our fellow educators understand how to shift from a bystander to an upstander. And silence and inaction are poisonous, right? They threaten our democracy and our basic humanity. But good works in the world, they are also contagious. We can spread the goodness of being upstanders and speaking out, but we need to rely on each other for the strength and the guidance to do that. And I'm really struck by the theme of today's workshop, choices matter. And it's really no exaggeration for me to say that my speaking to you here as Vermont's first congresswoman has origins in a choice, a decision that was made in my family during a Holocaust. And I want to tell you that my grandfather, Leopold Balint, was killed on a forced march from Mauthausen concentration camp in Austria. And the Nazis were trying to outrun the Allies. This was in the very last few weeks of the war. And my grandfather, Leopold, made a decision to hang back and help a fellow prisoner who had fallen behind and was not able to make it. So he tried to help this person along, and they were soon both shot to death. And this family story has haunted me, and it has also guided me. It is in many ways at the very core of what I do, why I do it, and how I do it. And I've always asked myself as an adult, would I have had the strength to do what he did? Would I have had the fortitude, right? In the midst of all that depravity and all that dehumanization, would I have had the fortitude to do what was right? Would I have had the courage to do that, to help another human while putting my own life at risk? But over time, what I've come to realize is that's actually the wrong question to be asking of myself. It's the wrong question to be asking of neighbors and constituents and students. The real question is, do we have the courage day in and day out on a regular basis to talk to people who are different? Do I have the strength to engage in conversations even when it's really hard? And what can I do with small moments of interaction that will help alleviate someone else's suffering? These have been my guiding principles as a teacher, as a state senator, and now as a congresswoman. That is my North Star as an elected leader. What can I do? Of course, from a policy perspective, right? What can I do to change the world in a positive way? But also, what can I do in every action of my work to see the humanity in someone else, to help alleviate suffering? This is a question that you have the opportunity to pass on to your students and also to your colleagues, right? The strength of the work we do as educators in professional development is not just to bring it to our classrooms or our schools, but to engage with other colleagues on these issues. That will enable us all to weave our social fabric back together in this country and to block hate from taking hold. And so again, I'm so grateful that you took the time today to be part of this important work. I'm grateful for all the work you're doing day in and day out in your schools and in your communities. I can honestly say it is such a tremendous honor to represent Vermont in Congress and to represent all of you. And I take the stories of you and your students and your schools with me into Congress every single day. And I'm grateful for all your hard work. Know that I'm thinking of you in the work that I do as well. So thank you. And I hope it is a really productive, fruitful, and inspiring day.